All right, what's going on, everybody? So this weekend we got Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And I think this could actually end up being a pretty good fight. So I'm going to be breaking down on how I think the fight's going to go and key to victory for both fighters. But real quick, before I get into the video, 97% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you like pro boxing, Misfits boxing, or UFC content, I post 2 to 4 times a week on this channel at least. So make sure you guys subscribe. I appreciate you. Before I get into how I think the fight's going to go, I'll run you guys through the tale of the tape. Jake Paul is 11-1. He is 6'1", 76-inch reach, and this fight's at 200 pounds, so they're both going to be at 200. Julio Cesar... Why can I not say Julio? I keep saying Julio for some reason, so I'm sorry if I keep saying that. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He is 54-6-1 with 34 KOs. I didn't know that. And a 73-inch reach. And he is 39 years old, so he's even younger than I thought. I thought he was like 45, so this is a huge age difference between Mike Tyson, who is 60 years old. So I know that the Mike Tyson fight was a joke, and Mike shouldn't have been in there, but you can't really say this is a joke fight because 39 isn't that bad. The fact that he's a pro boxer, he's going to give Jake some sort of look. But there still is a major weight advantage because he's going all the way up to 200 pounds, Julio Cesar Chavez. So there is a real chance that Jake knocks him out early, but I feel like it's not 100% likely because, well, it really just depends on if Julio Cesar Chavez respects Jake. If he comes in here prepared and respecting Jake, I think this fight could even go the distance. I'll get into it because I think Chavez will be moving a lot and mostly being on the back foot in this fight. And we know that Jake is fairly stationary. He's gotten better in his recent fights, but I feel like Chavez's footwork is going to be way better than Jake's at least. So I think he'll be able to stay in the fight for that reason. But before I say how I think the fight goes exactly, I'm going to give key to victory for both fighters. I'll start with Chavez. So I think Chavez, like I just said, needs to use his footwork a lot because I think he'll have advantage on Jake in that at least. And look to counter more than anything and respect Jake's power. Because Chavez can close the distance very fast. He has very fast hands. And he's decent at counter shots, so I think he will catch Jake a couple times if Jake just comes in crazy, but I don't think he could hurt Jake whatsoever. But I think Jake could obviously hurt Chavez because Jake has some real power. That's one thing you can't take away from him. He has real power in his punches in both hands. Jake actually has a very sneaky left hook, but so does Chavez. That's one of his best punches that he had in his career. So I think that could be something that Chavez looks for a counter shot. I don't think there should be really any points where Chavez should be the aggressor in this fight. But if he has Jake against the ropes, I think he would be good in that situation. But if they're in the middle of the ring or anything like that, I don't think it would be a very good idea just because of Jake's power advantage. I feel like Chavez should target the body of Jake when they are in the phone booth because there will be situations where that is the case in the middle of the ring because if Chavez wants to win the fight, he's got to walk forward at some points. And I feel like Jake hasn't really been tested to the body. We know that he has a good chin. But at this higher weight, he is a bit flabby. So I wonder if he's going to get hurt by anything. I wonder if the body, or at least he could wear down Jake throughout the fight with the body punches. Because Chavez also has very good punches to the body. It's probably some of his best work throughout his career is his body work. As we know, Chavez has fought Canelo. And some of the best work that he had in that Canelo fight was his work to the body whenever he had Canelo against the ropes. So if he can somehow have Jake against the ropes, I don't really think that would be the case because I think that Jake's power will be able to back up Chavez. He's going to have to just be defensively sound. I think there's a real chance that Chavez just makes this a somewhat mid-fight because he's just trying to, I don't want to say survive, but like outbox Jake and fight smart instead of like making it a war because I don't think they'll be very smart of him. So key to victories for Chavez is working the body, using his feet, and making it a fight on points, make it Olympic boxing, and try not to get caught by anything big. Throwing combination when you do have Jake in a certain position because Jake isn't much of a a combination puncher yet. And that's one of the main problems he had against Tommy Fury is when he got hit with combinations. So those are the main things I would say for Chavez. Key to victories for Jake is smother Chavez, get him against the ropes, and hopefully his footwork got better where he could like trap Chavez in the corner. If he does that, the fight could end up ending very quickly because in Jake's recent sparring footage, he seems so heavy-footed, even more than usual. He just looks slow at this weight that he built himself up to. I know he cut down probably a bit since this is at 200 pounds, but I heard he was at 230. I don't think he's good that heavy. So maybe he's light on his feet at 200, but he needs to be light in his feet, back down Chavez, and target the body to set up the right hand upstairs. You can't just headhunt straight up because Chavez has enough experience where he would be able to catch the shot if it's just obvious or super telegraphed. We've seen that Chavez could take a punch before because he took huge shots off Canelo, but to be fair, that was a long time ago, and Chavez has been through a lot of stuff back then. So I would say that Jake Paul he's very good at doing jabs to the body straight upstairs. That's probably the combination that I used to look for. He needs to hurt Chavez to the body where he can really block it, because Chavez has that Mexican style with a very high guard. That's why his left hook is so sneaky. But it's going to be bad against Jake because Jake can work the body and he hits hard. So he needs to hurt Chavez to the body if he wants the knockout to the head. If Jake does want the knockout, because I think that's how Jake should win this fight. I think he can beat Chavez on points. We'll see why in a second. But, yeah, I think Jake's main game plan should be constant forward pressure the entire time. He shouldn't get into an Olympic boxing match with Chavez, because I think Chavez could actually maybe win that fight. But Jake's left hook could be good enough to land in that type of fight. So I think regardless, he could hurt Chavez. So how I think this fight is going to go. I think it's going to go, I know Jake probably wants to get him out of there in like the first 3 rounds, but I think Chavez's experience will keep him in there. And again, his footwork, I just think he'll be able to stay away from Jake's power for at least a little bit. And then I would say by round 8 that Jake has worn him down and he dropped Chavez with actually a body shot that he doesn't get up from. So I'm saying that Jake Paul TKOs Julio Cesar Chavez in the 8th round. I think that's going to go quite a bit. Yeah, it could end fast, definitely, because Jake has some unreal power, and Chavez hasn't been as locked in on boxing recently, but it seems like he's pretty focused for this one. He's doing pretty good hyping up the fight. I'm sure that he doesn't want to lose to Jake, and I'm sure he wouldn't just take a money grab. It seems like a lot of people have that opinion about Jake Paul's fights, where these people are just taking dives. I don't think he would take a dive against Jake. I think a lot of people have ego fighters, and I don't think out of all people, they want to lose to Jake Paul for money. I feel like it would eat at them for a very long time. So I think Chavez will do good in the beginning of this fight. I just think as the fight goes on, Jake will wear him down. And this fight could go to decision. I was thinking about saying decision. I just think as the time goes on, Jake will be able to put him away. So yeah, I'm going to say Jake Paul TKO in round 8. Let me know if you guys disagree down below. But I think Chavez will actually do good early in this fight. So tell me if I'm wrong. But that's all I have for you guys today. Those are my predictions for Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar. Can I say Julio Cesar Chavez? Jesus Christ. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I don't know why I had such an issue throughout this entire fucking video. God is so annoying. For some reason, my mouth does not like saying that name. Or that sentence, apparently. I need to end the video now. Jesus. But that's all I had to say, man. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications if you want to see more of me. This is literally happening during UFC, by the way. Jake is an idiot for that, but I guess he'll be in the middle of the UFC card, like 2 or 3 fights in. So I'll catch this fight during the UFC card. I guess I'll miss some UFC fights for you, Jake. You dumbass for putting it during this. I'm not really sure if it's free on Netflix, so I'm sure they'll get some good numbers regardless for the people that don't watch UFC, but it's still a very dumb decision in my opinion. If you guys want to follow any of my socials, it's down in the description down below. I'll be making an instant reaction to the UFC, but I don't think I'll be able to do the Jake one because I would have to make my video during the UFC event, so it won't be worth it. So I'll make it short if Jake Paul knocks out Chavez, but that'll probably be it for that. But I'll make an instant reaction to UFC per usual. And I wanted to do both instant reactions if they happen at 2 points in the day, but they don't. So thank you guys for listening to me out like usual. God bless every single one of you. And peace out.
Yeah, they call me fucking pain. You steady fucking switching, stay up in your fucking lane. And shorty super soaker, I can hit your ass from range. Shorty doing ass and you knowin' where it going. Steady sipping codeine, yeah, you knowin' that my potion. That ass is like Cobra, cause you throwing it in motion. Oh, we fucking lurking, oh, we creeping around the roaming. Once you fucking see me, yeah, I'm out there fucking foaming. Pull up to the club and we getting really